Bluelock is fundamentally all about maximizing your potential, awakenings, adaptation, pushing yourself to become number one. But who really has said potential? There is a substantial amount of discourse about who's going to be the best by the end of the series, who isn't living up to their potential, and who is maybe a little too broken right now. So I thought, let's try to rank the top 10 Bluelockers in terms of that important and contentious potential. I'll be going over how strong they could be, theorizing just a wee bit on what they may look like at their peak. Some characters may be good, but if their potential isn't clear, then it will take them down a little bit. They will be assessed on an ideal but not unrealistic future version of themselves. Cool? You understand. Now, number 10 is a toss-up between two characters, Gargamaru Gin and Iki Nico. First, Gargamaru became a goalie better than 90% of the U20 world in just like a month. Makes sense. And Nico is a better defender than most of the U20 world at just 17. Both these players are crazy good, especially when considering when they started. But I think you have to give it to Gargamaru. The man just put on the gloves. So if he learns how to read the game better in order to anticipate goals like how he did against Barrow, it's all mad. Though I'm not entirely sure, since Gargamaru is the only good goal we have, so we have no real point of reference for how good he ought to be or could be. But like, look at this, what is this? And I know Nico has meta vision, but like, everyone has fucking meta vision at this point, so what does it even matter? And so Gargamaru places at number 10. Now, for the rest of this list, I'm going to categorize the rest of the placements into tiers. I feel like a lot of these are interchangeable, so tiers will show why I think the actual hard differences are. And the first tier is the world-class potential tier. Characters who have shown abilities which could easily place them at the top of the world, but not quite the best in my opinion. So then at number 9 we got Bartra. This brother is already a god at dribbling and can only go up from here. What I think he needs currently is a better shooting weapon. Besides that, if Bartra just improves what he's already doing, he could be the next Levinho easily. And that's a pretty good benchmark for potential. The only reason why he's so low is the fact that the rest of the people on this list are just even more disgusting prodigies, and the scope of his abilities are pretty well realized, especially when considering his ego is heavily tied to his dribbling. I don't think he's gonna do that much different or change too much, but who knows. Number 8 we have Shido. In my estimation, him and Bartra are pretty close, and the only reason I have Shido higher is his weapon is a little more crazy and he has an easier, clearer way to improve, while still being relative to Bartra currently. Take his shots for example, like half the time he's just sending the shots out willy-nilly like Asagi's sending out slurs. It's mad. But if he logs in even just this, he could do what he did in the U20 match on the world stage. I mean, he could be the best finisher in the box, and I see no reason why he couldn't extend that range outside of it. I doubt he'll get crazy dribbling, but he can dribble and he is exceptionally fast. So if he just learns one good skill to capitalize on that, he could be pretty good. Hell, most of the time he doesn't even need to dribble because of his off the ball movements being so good. I kind of doubt he'll get Predator Eye because he's the most instinctual active player I've seen, and waiting on the goalie doesn't seem to be his bag, and half the time he isn't even looking at the goal, so a vision based ability, I'm not too sure about that one. And to be honest, that kind of encompasses what I think holds him back from being high on this list is his style of play and his personality. But overall, a deadly shooter anywhere from inside or slightly outside of the box with good dribbling, good off the ball movements, that's pretty dangerous. The next tier I got is new world's best potential. These characters show attributes which could put them on the same level as the current world's best, with complete movesets and very strong egos. Number 7 is Barrow. Yes, he is low, but trust me, there is a substantial gap between him and Shido. Barrow has a complete toolset, shooting, dribbling, vision, just straight up aura. You would think that's a joke, but nah, literally he has some type of aura about him which makes people follow him, which can't be easily taught. But the problem is, I don't think he has that much of a clear path to more power as everyone else has ahead of him. Since it kind of feels like he's maxed out already, what else he's gonna do besides just what he's already doing, but better? And we don't really have a concrete idea of how far that can take him besides somewhere near the top. And that's why I placed him right here. Kunigami Rensuke literally has the blueprint to be the world's best. Now, I do think Barrow is better right now, yes, but Kunigami has so much room to grow, and unlike Barrow, he's ambidextrous, something that he can't learn and cannot be taught unless you're Asagi. And in theory, Kunigami could learn everything Barrow has. In fact, I think it's very plausible that he could get something like Predator Eye. But let's really talk about Kunigami for a second. At 17, he has a body approaching Noel Noah. And on top of that, currently has one of the highest ratings within Bluelock. great shooting, decent dribbling. His main issue is the way he plays, but if Kunigami locks in and fixes his mentality, which will definitely happen, he could reach Noah status and even beyond, depending on how deep his ego goes. This may come as a surprise, but I think Hiyori is disgusting, and though he isn't doing anything crazy in the current match, his Uber's performance speaks volumes. If I were to give him a realistic bid, I think he could easily be in the ballpark of around 100 million. And when we talk about the fact that he just started taking football seriously, you can see why I think he has more potential than Bara and Kunigami. Though I think all of these three characters have potential to reach heights of the current best in the world, as they all have complete movesets. Hiyori has dribbling, vision, passing, synergy, everything you want from a midfielder. I see him being as good as Sai, if not better. And right now he's basically just a mini Sai. And with the fact he's basically bred for football, I'ma say it, he could be the next Nuffy fighting. This is where we get to the limitless potential tier. These characters have seemingly no limit to how good they can get and can easily surpass the current world's best and ascend to heights never seen before. The first of which is Ryo Mikage. Ryo is actually nasty. I feel like people forget he just started playing football this year around the same time as Nagi, and he has potential, the weapon. He can copy anyone theoretically to 99%, which is just crazy. I can see in the future him being able to get to 99% consistently, or even surpassing it and learning world-class weapons, albeit probably for a short period of time, kind of like he said. Sure, he probably won't be exceptional at any single one thing like most on this list, but his bag will be so wide it wouldn't even matter. I mean, think about it. If he perfects metavision, he can see into the future, and then using his perfect copy, he can get an ability for every single situation that occurs. It's mad. If that's not the best player in the world material, then I don't know what is. However, he doesn't make it to the top 3 because it is true, he doesn't have that X factor which puts him above everybody else, but he is still cracked. Now, the top 3 stars with Rin Itoshi. Rin, the number one, everyone knows how good he is at this point. I mean, I could argue he's just as versatile as Ryo, a person who I mentioned earlier literally has copy. And on top of this, Rin has a bag that nobody can copy, which is Destroy Mode, which basically allows him to violate anyone he feels like. Call it the Diddy power, he just rocks up, does his thing, and nobody has done anything until recently, forcing Kaiser and Isagi to team up. Isagi, a person who wanted to kill Kaiser 2 seconds ago, it's all mad. And this is only the second time he's entered this form. Isagi also recognized that this awakening was equivalent to his awakening at the start of the series. Who's the main character again? I mean, his potential is unquantifiable. He could unlock better mastery over his Destroy Mode, implementing more of his puppet mastery, reining in or harnessing it more, increasing his abilities technically, and since he's skilled in all areas, he can increase literally everything. But the one thing I'm really not too sure about is him unlocking Metavision. He may be able to do it, and I may be proven wrong, but it seems like to me, Predator Eye can be used by both talented learners and geniuses, whereas Metavision can only be acquired by talented learners. I suspect only those who yearn in their hearts to understand everything can unlock such an ability. That want to understand the world is the only energy source which can stimulate Metavision. Metavision is sort of a rite of passage for talented learners. Though, if Metavision isn't impossible, just harder for geniuses to learn, then Rin could definitely have it, and honestly, I could put him at number 1. Number 2, we got Isagi. Yes, over Rin, I know, and right now Rin is better than Isagi and will definitely get better, but Isagi has gone from a bum to a new Gen 11 striker in like 4 months. He has a potential, the brain, and unlike physique, there is no limit to what the brain can do. If you rely on your physical ability, there's always someone stronger than you, and if you face that person, you're cooked. But with the brain, you can always find a solution. I've already talked about his potential in my Isagi video, but Isagi's whole thing is evolution. Because he's the main character, he has a lot of room for improvement. I mean, look, he can still get Predator Eye, more different shots, more understanding of his egos and other people's egos. Hell, he can even learn how to dribble from someone like Sai. Probably not to the degree of Sai, but I assume he'll find some type of middle ground. His mindset is really what separates him into this level. A character, no, a person who believes they have no limits and doesn't tie themselves down to one set way will always have unlimited potential. I mean, after all, the greatest evolution in the animal kingdom wasn't the fastest, strongest, or most durable creature, it was the most intelligent. Though number 1 may go beyond our comprehension of evolution completely. Nagi Seishiro is not only the epitome of physical potential, he is potential incarnate. He barely knows the rules of soccer and is playing with the best U20 players in the world. I don't think anyone can deny what he can do. He is just outrageous. The reason I have Nagi above Isagi is because unlike Isagi and the rest of the cast, I can pretty comprehensively visualize what Isagi could look like. Nagi on the other hand, I can imagine some things, But we know so little about what Nagi is capable of, we don't even know his motivation, so what he can actually be is boundless. Considering the fact he's already one of the best players when putting in a little effort. What he could do when fully locked in, I suspect will have limits just as high, if not higher, than Isagi. I mean, he doesn't know anything about anything. Imagine he learns how to dribble using that insane physicality. Bartra? Who's that? I don't care about no Bartra, get him out of here. Imagine he learns how to think strategically or even more creatively, because again, he's not incapable, he's not dumb, he just doesn't know football. Imagine him mastering his shots, trapping, mentality. Imagine Nagi gets a super flow like Isagi or Rin. Oh, bro, Nagi could be absolutely the best player in the world, no doubt. I mean, he has his own manga for a goddamn reason. Now, I suspect a lot of you people may disagree. Maybe you would have had Chigiri on the list or Monk. I don't know with you people sometimes, honestly. But hopefully I did a good job of articulating my point of view. If you disagree, talk your shit in the comments. If you got any ideas on the potential of these characters or what they may look like, say that then. But yeah, let that out your play, man. Go away,